The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. And good evening, my name is Ron Jucker. Welcome to the show. Tonight we got ourselves a dandy. The California Angels coming in off their big win over the Montreal. Wrong season. Over the Baltimore Orioles last night or yesterday, and today it's a weekend set in New York with the New York Yankees. The Yankees are now back in first place. So again, this is possibly a preview of the American League Championship Series, and if there wasn't enough pressure on the Yankees to face the Angels, they had the Red Sox in 3 days, and we'll have that here for you on Retro Sports Network. First, so let's deal with a little bit of real life and sadness in real life. As you know, Al Kaline, the legendary Detroit Tiger player, passed away today, this April 6th, as we're coming on the air, and we will do a tribute game to him probably on tape, probably sometime tomorrow, because we're trying to keep the 78 baseball replay going. So the Al Kaline tribute game will be taped sometime tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to do. Someone actually just asked for it, and so we will certainly do that from Tiger Stadium. Not sure who I will do that against. If you're watching live, and we'll mention it during the game, who would you like to see Al Kaline and the Tigers play against? My good buddy Jim Vitanos, my former boss. That's his idol, and so this is just a sad day. So thoughts with the Tigers and the Kaline family and anyone along that line. All right, so back to the game tonight. Jim Beatty looking for his 4th win of the year. The Yankee rookie pitcher trying to keep the Yankees in first place. Don Osse's on the hill for California on a beautiful night in the Bronx. It's baseball, it's nighttime, and next, right here, as Retro Sports Network presents 1978 Major League Replay tonight from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. It is the first place New York Yankees against the first place California Angels, brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best podcast on the internet for your sports simulation and replay needs. And so as Jim Beatty takes his warm-up tosses, we say hi to Big Clue, and yet Al Kaline did pass away at some point today at the age of 85. And how you doing, Andy Jester and Robbie Guynette, for those mini episodes. So we probably won't do the Kaline tribute live. We will do it on tape probably tomorrow morning. We'll see. The wife needs to run an errand and such, and I need to take a look to see which Kaline season I want to do that with. But yes, we certainly will be paying tribute to Al Kaline on the channel. I'm several days behind as far as the 78 replay goes, and I want to make sure that that gets up beforehand. All right, so Jim Beatty on the hill. Most of you would remember him with the Seattle Mariners, but he was a rookie for the Yankees in 1978. He's making his 9th appearance and 8th start of the year. 3-3 with a 4.95 ERA. He is a fastball pitcher. He is neutral as far as fly balls and ground balls are concerned, and that fastball tops out at 90. He went 10 days between starts or appearances. He went 2 1/3 innings out of the pen against the Angels in Anaheim on the 11th, going 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits, and 3 strikeouts. So overall on the year, 40 innings, 45 hits, 22 runs all earned, 4 homers. He has walked 19 and struck out 19. And Beatty will be a key part of the Yankees' drive as they try to hold on here in the American League East. The lineup he'll face: Kenny Landreau will lead off in right field. Bobby Grich will bat second. Vic Miller hits third. This is a little better lineup than what the Angels threw out yesterday. Joe Rudy cleans up in left. Don Baylor is a DH. He'll bat fifth. Ron Fairley at first will bat sixth. Papa Jack, Ron Jackson is at third. He'll bat seventh. Dave Chalk at short will bat eighth. And Brian Downing will catch and bat ninth. Always good to be here. Defensively for the Yankees, Roy White is a 7-1 in left. Mickey Rivers is an 8-5 in center, and Reggie Jackson in the outfield with his Reggie Bars against his future employers is a 6-8 in right. Craig Dentle's a 10 at third. Jim Stanley is at short. No Bucky Dent. He's a 5 at short. Brian Doyle, Danny's brother, is a 5 at second, so no Randolph tonight either. Chris Chambliss a 10 at first. Thurman Munson behind the plate. He's a 9 and an 8. And Beatty is a 7 on the mound with a fielding percentage of .923. So everybody's settling in here at Yankee Stadium for this big one on a Friday night in the Bronx. 73 degrees. The winds are blowing left to right at 5. Comfortable, clear, and it's time for baseball. Landro at 196, a homer, and 9 RBI. And this game starts with a ground ball to short. Stanley helps you do things right, throws to first. And that's how this one starts. Bobby Grich at 279, 5 homers, and 33 RBI. Doesn't it look like Beatty's got like headphones wrapped around his neck in that picture? You know that's not true. Pitch to Grich. And there's a base hit left center field. White will pick it up. And the Angels had the first base runner of the ball game. There are some Angel fans here. Up in the upper deck, Rick Miller at 235. No homers, a triple, and 10 RBI. Robbie is green on my screen tonight. Big Clue is fluorescent green. And ID Jester gets the red. Our 82nd follower, by the way, is Game Life Game. He followed yesterday, so glad to have you along. Pitch to Miller is into left field, White in the corner, and in foul territory, he reaches in and makes the catch. Not a lot of room down the lines here at Yankee Stadium. 2 out for Joe Rudy. At 327, 8 homers and 31 RBI. Beatty deals. There's a ground ball up the middle. Doyle takes it to the bag himself at second, and that will retire the side. Remember that name, Doyle. If the Yankees do win the division and make the playoffs, there's no Willie Randolph. Brian Doyle is their second baseman should they make the playoffs. No runs, a hit, no errors. Half an inning in the books, the Angels. Nothing. Here come the Yankees. Not a lot of Yankee fans here, including the announcer. Shh. Don't tell anybody. So Don Asse, I believe he came over in the Jerry Remy trade. He was with the Red Sox. He is 3-5 on the year, making start number 12 with an ERA of 3.81 against the Yankees at Anaheim. He went 7 2/3 innings in his last start. He got the win here, although his numbers aren't great. 9 hits, 5 runs. All earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. So in 75 2/3 innings, 80 hits, 40 runs, 32 earned. He's allowed 4 home runs. He's a fastball pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher, and that fastball tops out at 90. 32 walks and 36 strikeouts. And this is a lineup he'll face. The Yankees will lead off with Mickey Rivers in center field. Roy White will play left and bat second. Thurman Munson will hit third behind the plate. And then look at it, it's lefty, lefty, lefty. It's a lefty express here. Reggie Jackson cleans up in right field. Chris Chambliss at first will bat fifth. Craig Nettles at third will bat sixth. Jim Spencer, the DH, will bat seventh. Stanley, it's Fred Stanley, isn't it? I'll figure it out eventually. Is at short, he'll bat eighth, and Brian Doyle will bat ninth and play second base. Jim Beatty 14 pitches in the first inning. Defensively for the Angels, Joe Rudy in left, he's a 6 and a 3. Rick Miller is a 10 and a 7 in center. Kenny Landro a 3 and a 7 in right. Ron Jackson a 3 at third. Dave Chalk a 5 at short. So again, no Carney Lansford for the Angels. Bobby Grich a 9 at second, and Ron Fairley a 5 at first. Brian Downing behind the plate. He's a 6 and a 5, and Aussay is a 7 with a .930 fielding percentage. Rivers, 333. That's symmetry, my friends. 4 homers and 21 RBI. Aussay starts the night with a ground ball to Chalk behind the bag. A diving stop over to first, and Rivers is retired. So that's how it starts for the Yankees. Here's Roy White at 259, 3 homers and 11 RBI. So noontime games the rest of the week. And we'll look after this one to see what we're doing then. And then starting Thursday night, 7:30, 8 o'clock, whenever we're done with Dave Gardner, a tradition unlike any other comes to Twitch and Retro Sports Network, the Masters. 4 complete rounds of golf. How you doing, Appachatter? Starting Thursday night right here on Retro Sports Network. White at 259, 3 homers, 11 RBI, if I didn't read that to you already. Aussay delivers, and that's right back to Dawn, over to first, and there's 2 out. So 2 batters, 2 ground balls for Thurman Munson. At 282, 2 homers, and 35 RBI. Bostock is in the starting lineup for California. He must be dinged up. Came in as a pinch hitter yesterday afternoon against the Orioles. And I got to remember to actually redo the stadium so they're not playing in Camden Yards anymore. Pitch to Munson, struck him out. He got him on a strike 3 on 89-mile-an-hour fastball looking, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1, it's the Halos, nothing, the Bombers, nothing. So Don Baylor, future New York Yankee, Ron Fairley, and Ron Jackson due up for the Angels here in the second. Baylor at 279. Should not hit well against Beatty. Look at that, 173. Anyway, Baylor has 16 homers and 46 RBI. Pitch. Struck him out. He got him on an 0-2 fastball out of the zone, and Baylor chased. So that's the first. Beatty, in 128 innings, struck out 65. Yes, it does use ballpark effects. They use the Seamheads database for every year, and we usually go through that in about the 3rd inning. We'll go through. Ron Fairley is at 260, 4 homers and 18 RBI. Even if it's the wrong picture like yesterday, the ballpark effects are there. Doesn't say in the play-by-play, Steve, if it's something was changed, but I'm looking at him right now. So, pitch to Fairley, ball 4. So Fairley will take the freebie. 3-1 low and outside. 1 out for Ron Jackson at 335. 3 homers and 19 RBI. Pitch to Jackson. Got away from Munson. And Fairley moves up 90, and Munson with a passed ball. A lot of foul territory behind the plate here at the old stadium. And so that was pretty easy. Munson just couldn't handle it. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jackson. Beatty's pitch. Ground ball to Stanley over to Chambliss for the out. So 2 out for Dave Chalk at 266. No homers and 11 RBI. No score. Top of the second. Pitch. And there's a ground ball to Stanley deep in the hole over to first. Chalk can mutter, and he beat it out. That ball was really deep in the hole. The throw wasn't bad. And so that's a second hit. Runners in the corners for Brian Downing. Sitting in an 8-game hitting streak. 246, a homer, and 15 RBI. Fairley on third, Chalk on first. Pitch. Downing, ground ball to second. Doyle to first, and the Angels will strand 2. They get no runs, a hit, no errors. They even got a pass ball in their favor, but cannot score. An inning and a half down, nothing doing here at the stadium. Camden is more visually pleasing than Memorial. But the second time this week I screwed up the ballpark. I thought I had... You know what happened is I had those parks set on the old computer, but obviously we're not using a new install of Action PC Baseball. And so it erases all that because it was on the old computer. And so here we go as we start Friday. California, a 1.5 game lead over the Royals. They've won 7 out of their last 10. They're 36-25, but they're only a 500 team on the road at 14-14. Kansas City, a 1.5 games. Oh, it's always, yep. There's no way to back that up, by the way. Save the folder. It has all the ballparks and stuff. And that, by the way, is the most common question I get is about the ballparks. But because the game install is different than it was on the old computer, it just doesn't register. The Yankees by a 1/2 game over Baltimore, 4 over the Brewers, who've lost 3 straight, and 4 over the Red Sox. In the National League, the Dodgers by 2 over Houston, and the Pirates have won 2 straight, and they lead Philadelphia by 3. Here's Reggie Jackson. Didn't want to be interrupted by the standings at 288, 14 homers, and 45 RBI. Ase deals, and Jackson lines out one to Fairley for the first out. So thanks for tuning in on a Monday night. Chris Chambliss at 280, 3 homers, and 33 RBI. Game 72 for the Angels, and game number 62 for the Angels, and 61 for the Yankees. Uncle Ron's math skills aren't very good. Remind you that it took me 3 times to pass Algebra 1. Pitch to Chambliss, right back to Ase, over to first for the out. That's why I do fake play-by-play of fake sports. Here's Nettles at 319, 11 homers, and 37 RBI. Ase cruising right along into right center field. Miller will make the catch. In fact, he makes a diving catch along the grass. How about that? Okay, it's not fake sports. It's classic sports that we're playing a second time around. Ron, that just means you should remember it 3 times better than the rest of us. I'm tired of solving for X. X is needy. I don't want to solve for X anymore. I talk about that with my counselor. So through 9 batters, Beatty 40 pitches in, 2 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. There are times, Robbie, I wonder if I'm smarter than a 5th grader. Kenny Landreau is 0 for 1. He started the game. My ex is needy too, but I talked to my attorney about that. Sulfur. One of my favorite fake peanut ads or commercial strips. Pitch to Landreau. Here's a ground ball, right side base hit. And so Landreau's on with a single. 3rd hit for the Angels. They've left 3 on. Bobby Grich, by the way, singled his first time up. Appichatter says he's probably not smarter than a 5th grader at this point. Depends on how long you've been stuck at home or how much sleep you get. I know you go to bed pretty early. Anyway, so it's not a real Peanuts cartoon, but it's Sally sitting at the school desk. And the thought and the quote bubble is, only in a math word problem could you buy 50 cantaloupes and no one would think you're crazy. Pitch to Bobby is in the left center. Rivers is going to dive and can't get there. Landreau will hold at second. Rivers picks it up. So he made a good effort, but he was by the wall. Not when I don't work. Okay. So runners on first and second. And nobody out for Rick Miller, who's 0 for 1. Pitch from Beatty is a ground ball to Chambliss. Might be 2. Stanley for 1. Chambliss goes back to cover. It looks like a 3-6-3. It smells like a 3-6-3. And by God, it is a 3-6-3. So 2 out. for Joe Rudy, who's 0 for 1. Wind blowing in from left, Old Glory pointing towards home plate. Pitch to Joe, into right, Jackson in the corner, and he'll make the catch to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. 2.5 down, California nothing, New York nothing. So Jim Spencer, Fred Stanley, and Brian Doyle, not necessarily murderer's row here for the Yankees, here in the bottom of the third. So the ballpark effects, lefties are a -3 in batting average to that short porch and right. Not even reading that. Right-handers are at 8% disadvantage in batting average. The lefties, however, with that short porch, plus 32% in home runs, Death Valley in left center, and remember, it's 430 to left center, and 78 is a -10%. So 3-6-3 double play. There we go. So Spencer at 211, 4 homers and 15 RBI. Pitch to Jim, ground ball to Gritch, over to Fairley for the out. So 1 out for Fred Stanley. The Chicken Man at 217, 5 for 23 on the year with an RBI. Ase kicks and deals. Ground ball to short, chalked by the bag at second, over to first for the out. So Ase is throwing strikes out there. Here's Brian Doyle. He is 0 for 5 on the year. He only hit 192 in real life, 10 for 52. But yep, solid matchup. How you doing, golf guy? Here's the pitch. Doyle right back to Ase, over to Fairley, and it's 9 up and 9 down. We've played 3. There's still no score. So Don Baylor, Ron Fairley, and Ron Jackson to face Mr. Beatty. Baylor struck out, the lone strikeout victim in the ball game for the Angels. It is a beautiful day. It was 57 here today in Burlington. You allowed on the courses in Quebec? Pitch to Baylor, and that hit him. Now there's a surprise. So Baylor just kind of smiles and tips his hat as it hit him on the shoulder, and that'll bring up Fairley, who walked his first time up. Angels have stranded 4. Pitch. And there's a bunt. Munson throws to first. It worked. Doyle covering, and it goes 2-4 on the card. So Baylor moves into scoring position for Ron Jackson, who's 0 for 1. Dave Chalk on deck. Pitch to Jackson is a ground ball to... What? Okay, everything is locked up. So it's a ground ball up the middle. Doyle dived, but it hit him. It hit Baylor by the bag at second. So Baylor didn't run, and Doyle dove for it, but they're going to call pretty much interference on Baylor, and Jackson is credited with a single. Never seen that before, so a rare play. So Baylor is out on the hit ball. You can't hit the batter, or the runners can't be hit with the ball. They're out. So 2 out for Chalk. Trying to explain that one. Who singled his first time up. Jackson with the cheapy hit, and Chalk draws the walk. So that's really unfortunate now, because the bases would be loaded for Downing, who's 0 for 1. He's still on an 8-game hitting streak. Instead, Jackson on second, Chalk on first. Pitch from Beatty is a ground ball to Stanley. He's got to hurry. And Downing is retired. So the Angels have squandered 6 base runners so far. No runs, a hit, a strange interference call, and that's it. After 3.5, it's still no score. Yeah, you got Ron at third for the Angels and Reggie in right for the Yankees. 78. That's the year that Jackson faced Bob Welch in Game 1 of the World Series and struck out. Game 6 was another story, but in Game 1, he struck him out. So Don Ace, 3 innings, 35 pitches, and a strikeout, and a whole mess of bagels. Mickey Rivers is 0 for 1. They're playing for the bunt. Oh, no, he won 27 that year. Pitch to Rivers is a ground ball to second. Gritch throws it over, 1 away. Brings up Roy White, who's 0 for 1. Clemens would have won 30 with the Bash Brothers, but Clemens would have eaten his way out of town. Roger was a bit porky in 1990. Pitch to White. Struck him out. He got him on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball looking, and there's 2 out for Munson, who struck out his first time up. Pitch to Munson. Here's a ground ball to Chalk over to Fairley. Porky did lead the MLB in ERA that year, but Welch won 27. Who says steroid? He wasn't taking him in 1990. That was 96. No runs, no hits, and no errors. After 4, no score. Keep an eye on that Yankee line. Something nice is going on now. So Landro is 1 for 2. Beatty kind of lucky that the Angels can't string anything together. 71 pitches, 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Yes. Yeah, he told Terry Cooney to go pronoun and noun himself. They haven't worked for Dave Gardner. He wasn't talking to Terry Cooney. Terry Cooney didn't buy that. And, of course, the Sox were down 3-0 in Oakland anyway. It's not like they were going to come back and win that series. Landro 1 for 2, and Beatty got him to swing in, just below the belt. So another fastball, and that's the second one for Jim. Here's Bobby Gritch. He singled twice. Pitch to Bobby. Into right. Reggie puts down the Clark bar, and there's 2 out. So Rick Miller, he's 0 for 2. I wasn't a big fan of the A's, but I had a big soft spot for Welch. You know, Dave Stewart, of course, was the ace of those teams and never won a Cy Young. Pitch to Miller. Ground ball to Chambliss. He takes it to the bag himself, and believe it or not, we're halfway home. So we go to the break. The Angels, no runs, no hits, no errors. Halfway home, no score. Yeah, he wasn't all that great with the Dodgers. Pitching for the Phillies for a while, too. Ace, 4 innings and 2 strikeouts. Everything else is a bagel. Beatty, 5 innings, 5 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 2. And you saw briefly, if you didn't get the ad, the game recap, and it was blank. Instinct and 5-hour energy. Ad for a video game app and Sonic. Ooh, tater tots. That sounds so good. No, Clemens couldn't buy one from 88 to 92. And, of course, the Red Sox played those 8 playoff games against the A's in 88 and 90 and didn't win a blessed thing. Robbie got an anti-vaping ad and ad for Sonic. So no Jewel for you. Reggie's 0 for 1. Ace starts the bottom of the 5th with a fly ball to left. Rudy makes the catch. For Chris Chambliss, Ace's only at 50 pitches. Man, the Angels could use a run. Pitch to Chambliss. Ground ball to Chalk over to Fairley, and that's 2 away. Might be time to call the kiddies in. Here's Greg Nettles. An ad for Dove Body Wash. What is that telling you? Pitch to Nettles, who's 0 for 1, and there goes the perfect game. Kind of a bloop single in the right center. And so, what a performance by Ase. He retired the first 10, 11, 14 hitters he faced. Brings up Jim Spencer, who's 0 for 1. Pitch to Jim. There's a ground ball to Gritch. Over to first, and that will retire the side. Sean, one of my newer followers, how are you? Nettles was a very underrated third baseman. So the Yankees finally break up the no-hitter. And after 5, there is no score. And Beatty is giving me the fatigue warning. He'll face Rudy, Baylor, and Fairley here in the 6th. Angels have stranded 6. The Yankees won. Pitch to Rudy. There's a ground ball to third. Nettles, a diving stop and a long throw to first, and they got him. Nettles, he just he did a Brooks Robinson, hoovered that one up, stood up, and with a bullet over to Chambliss for the first out. Brings up Baylor, who's 0 for 1 with the strikeout. Here's the pitch to Baylor, and there's a liner in the left field. Baylor's also been hit by a pitch. And so Baylor has 9 stolen bases on the year. Ron Fairley is 0 for 1 with a walk, or 0 for 0 with a walk. Sack bunt in the 4th, so he does not have an official at-bat. The pitch, ground ball up the middle. Doyle with an absolute diving stop. Stanley for 1, over to Chambliss. Fairley is out. 4-6-3, and Brian Doyle went behind the bag, made the stop, underhanded it to Stanley, who threw the strike to first. And so the Angels are out in the top of the 6th. No runs, a hit. They don't leave anybody on after 5.5. It's still California and the Yankees scoreless in Staten Island. Or the Bronx. So Fred Stanley is 0 for 1. Pitch from Ase is a ground ball to Chalk deep in the hole. Throw to first. 1 away. Brings up Brian Doyle. Who's 0 for 1. Ase deals. And that's to Papa Jack at third. Across the way, 2 out. So losing the perfecto didn't do too much for Ase. Here's Rivers. Mickey's 0 for 2. Ase threw 5 2/3 innings. The 1 hit by Nettles, and that's it. He has struck out 2, and he's thrown 69 pitches. Pitch to Mickey. Struck him out. He 1-2 cutter on the inside corner, and the Yankees go down in order again. We go to the 7th. We are flying here on a Monday night. It's the Angels nothing, the Yankees nothing. So Ron Jackson 1 for 2. Got himself a single. Pitch from Beatty. Ball 4. So the Angels put the lead runner on for Dave Chalk, who is singled and walked. They've not retired him yet. 1 for 1. Jackson not a threat to steal. Pitch from Beatty. Ball 4. So Billy Martin is stirring in that first base dugout for Brian Downing, who is 0 for 2. Nobody out, top the 7th in a scoreless game. Here, and Munson and Beatty will have a few words. Thurm says throw strikes. Jimmy says yes. Ground ball to third. Nettles. Doyle for 1. Chambliss, is it 2? Is it 2? Yes, it is. So they go around the horn, and there's 2 out for Landro. So Beatty probably facing his last inning here. 6 2/3 innings, 105 pitches to 27 batters. 6 hits. He has walked 4 and struck out 2. But you gotta wonder, unless he can get Landro here really fast, how much longer he'll stay in. Pitch to Landro is a ground ball to third. Nettles is gonna throw. Does Jackson score? Yes, he does, because Landro beat it out. Landro just hustled it all the way down the line, and finally the Angels get a run. So it's 1-0 California, and that'll bring up Bobby Grich, who is 2 for 3. So Beatty certainly now will not pitch the 8th. Pitch to Bobby. Popped up right side. Reggie coming in. He will dive and make a great play. Stretch time. Angels 1, Yankees nothing. And again, Bob Shepard stepping in to play the organ and making that effort worth it. Roy White is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Munson and Jackson to follow. 1-0 California. So the double play and then the good play by Reggie to get the Yankees out of it. Pitch to White is strike 3. Got him on a 2-2 fastball on the outside corner. That's 4 for Rosse. And that'll bring up Thurman Munson, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So the Angels trying to expand their lead in the American League West. The Yankees and Orioles in an absolute dogfight in the American League East with Boston and Baltimore waiting in the wings. Milwaukee. Pitch to Munson. There's a looper into left field, so Thurm's got a single. Second hit for the Yankees, and here's Reggie Jackson. Reggie's not struck out yet tonight. He's 0 for 2. Osse's pitch struck him out. Checked his swing on a 1-2 fastball, and that's 5 for Osse. So 2 out for Chambliss, who is 0 for 2. Munson on first. Yankees have only left 1 runner on. The Angels have stranded 7. Pitch to Chris. Struck him out. He got him on a 2-2 fastball in there at the knees, and that will retire the side. So the Yankees get their second hit and leave him on. After 7, it's the Angels 1, the Yankees nothing. So, oh my goodness, look at that pen. That pen is wasted. So it's going to be Goose Gossage, who pitched the night before. He is 2-1 on the year with 14 saves and an ERA of 1.19. This is appearance number 21 for the Goose. He is a fly ball plus pitcher. His fastball tops out at 95. And he eats a bowl of sharded glass every day for breakfast. So against the Mariners last night, he went 1 inning, got the save. He allowed a hit and struck out 2. So in 37 2/3 innings, he's allowed 25 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 2 homers, and walked 7 and struck out 32. So the Yankees, that's a pretty thin pen. They only have a 3-man operation. Against the Angels on the 10th, he went 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 1. And did not get anything. So Miller is 0 for 3. He is grounded into a double play. Pitch from Gossage. Strike 3. Fastball in there at 96. So 1 out for Rudy. It'll be Nettles, Spencer, and Stanley to face Osse in the 8th. Rudy's 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Right side. Doyle. 2 out. Brings up Mr. Baylor. Don is singled and struck out. So Osse trying to get the win, and Beatty would be the pitcher of record in the loss. Pitch to Baylor. Into left. White will turn and watch that one go way, way out of here. Ho, ho. That's in the monuments. And it's 2-0 California. So Baylor hit that one. The wind is blowing in at 14, too. So Baylor just crushed that one. And Gossage just spits out some chaw. So 67 WMAQ degrees out here. And the wind is now blowing in hard at 14. But Baylor absolutely left no doubt with that. That's the 17th of the year. That ball was crushed. And now I'll bring up Fairley, who's 1 for 2, or 0 for 1, with a walk and a ground ball double play. 2 out, Gossage's pitch, and that's a line drive to Doyle, and that will retire the side. But Don Baylor put that one into the old Polo Grounds. That ball was hit so hard. The Angels get a solo shot from Baylor. No errors. 7.5 down. It's California 2, the Yankees nothing. So Nettles, Spencer, and Stanley, and then Doyle. Not murderer's row by any stretch. Pitch to Nettles is into left field. Rudy, 1 out. For Spencer, who was 0 for 2. Pitch from Asse. Ground ball foul, first base side. We'll do it again. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Asse deals. Ball 4. So the tying run is at the plate in Fred Stanley, who can draw a walk. He is 0 for 2. Asse deals. Line drive to right. Landro is there. 2 out. Brian Doyle is going to get pinch hit for. They bring in Willie Randolph at 272, 2 homers and 17 RBI. Pitch to Randolph. Ground ball to Chalk. Flips it to Gritch, and that will retire the side. Yanks go down. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 8, it's the Angels 2, the Yankees nothing. Paul Blair played second base? Really? So Willie Randolph's a 7 at second. Jackson, Chalk, and Downing for the Angels here in the 9th. Jackson has walked and singled. Angels with a singleton in the 7th, and that solo bomb by Baylor in the 8th. Off of Gossage. Jackson hits a ground ball right to Randolph, over to first. Get the glove warm and makes the throw. 1 away. Here's Chalk. He's walked twice and singled, so they've yet to retire him today. Ground ball to Chambliss. He'll take it to the bag himself. 2 out. Yep, this for a baseball game is pretty gosh darn quick. So 2 out for Downing, who is 0 for 3. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Halos. They've left 7 on. The Yankees, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. And they have stranded 3. Pitch to Downing. Into left, wide in the corner, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. A better inning from Gossage. We go to the bottom of the 9th. California 2, the Yankees nothing. So Asse, through 27 batters, 111 pitches, 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs. He's working on the shutout. He has walked 1 and struck out 6. Rivers will bunt. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Bunt is down. Downing will throw to Fairley, and that's a single. Actually, the throw goes into right field, but not deep enough, so Rivers will actually reach on an error, but doesn't go to second. But the tying run is Roy White, and he is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. Pitch to White. Here's a ground ball. Fairley's only play. Oh, he's going for what? Well, let's see what happened here. Fairly threw it to second. They got to Speedy Rivers and then back to Ase, but the throw pulled Don off the bag. So it goes 3-6 on the fielder's choice, and they'll trade White for Rivers. And here's Munson, who was 1 for 3. All sorts of weird stuff tonight. Thurman is singled and struck out. 65 degrees. Here it is again. The chalk, and he flew it over to Ace, and that was Arase. And couldn't get him. So Fairley and Jackson guard the lines. Munson just wants to put it in play. Throw to first. White back. And now the infield is playing normal. Pitch to Munson. Struck him out. He got him on a 78-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch, and that's 7 for Ase. So the last chance saloon on this Monday night is Reggie Jackson. Yeah, it was smart to get the lead runner for sure. Reggie is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. But, on the other hand, he is the tying run at the plate. The irresistible force against the immovable object. Ase and Downing trying to get on the same page. White leads. Jackson strikes out and the ball game's over. So the Angels have shut out the Yankees 2-0. And so Don Ase is our digital dice player of the game. He goes 9 innings, allows 2 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 8, and he was tired. He goes to 4-5 on the year as the Angels go to 37-25. 2 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for California. The Yankees are just held to 2 hits. Beatty, 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. He walked 4 and struck out 2. Not a bad effort. And Gossage gave up the homer to Baylor. So that's my button. So there we go. So that's the day. Let's play the rest of the day in baseball. Houston goes to 36-22. Lemon Jello gets the win. They beat the Cubs 4-2. Texas downs Toronto 6-5. Paul Lindblad gets the win. My screen scrolled. Cincinnati 9, St. Louis 3. Tom Seaver goes to 9-2 on the year. See if there's anything here I'm supposed to be picking up early. Don Kirkwood nope, that was the other day. So have I missed anything yet? Houston, by the way, made 4 errors in that game against the Cubs and still won. Boston shuts out Seattle 5-0. Eckersley goes to 6-6. Dick Pole, yep, that's his name. Please make it an appropriate joke. Gets the loss. Carl Yastrzemski hits his 11th of the year. Eckersley throws a 4-hitter and strikes out 7. Pittsburgh 4, Atlanta 3. Willie Stargell with a homer. Bert Blyleven, best Phil Necro. Bert goes to 7-5. Oakland beats Baltimore 3-2, so the Yankees don't lose any ground. Langford with the win, 6-4. Mitchell Page with his 10th of the year. Milwaukee beats Cleveland 7-3. Larry Sorensen goes to 11-3 on the year. Johnny Grubb with a homer, his 10th. Chicago beats Kansas City 4-2. Francisco Barrios with a win. Allows 2 walks, no earned runs. He goes to 9-4. Don Kessinger with the 2nd of the year. Minnesota shuts out Detroit 6-0. Jackson with the win. Cubbage with his 4th homer. Philadelphia 5, San Diego 0. Steve Carlton gets the better of Randy Jones to go 8-4. The Giants behind Ed Halicki beat the Mets 3-2. Halicki goes the route, goes to 4-2. The Dodgers down the Expos. I think that's the game tomorrow. Doug Rauch beats Steve Rogers. Ellis Valentine with his 10th. And finally in the nightcap, Toronto beats Texas 3-2. Lemancic gets the win. Bump Wills with his 6th home run of the year. The Angels did have an Aussie up their sleeve. Noontime game tomorrow is the Dodgers and the Expos. So we'll have it for you at noon Eastern. I'll figure out what game we're going to do for Al Kaline and the standings as we leave you. Pittsburgh by 3 over Philly in the NL East. The Dodgers by 2 over Houston in the NL West. The Yankees by half a game over Baltimore. Milwaukee and Boston are now 3 back. California by 2.5 over Kansas City. Expos Dodgers tomorrow at noon. Right here on Twitch, Thank you so much for watching. Be good to each other. We are all we have, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.